Hey everybody, let's get started. Hey, let me turn down my music because I think it's not chill enough. It's a little upbeat. I don't want upbeat. All right. Let's see if we can find something just a little less perky. Because tonight is just not, I don't feel like being perky, do you? I know I prefer something that's a little more chill, a little more, let's take a nap. Nothing with like lots of boop, boop, boop. While that is beautiful work, I don't think it's what I want. So I'm going to go back to Melodies of the Heart. I'm going to listen to a few extra things and see what's here. What was I on? I think I was on Cheerful. I don't need Daydreams. There's Hope. There's some K-pop Demon Hunter stuff in here, but I don't know. What do you think? Should we listen to it? Let's see what we got. Oh, can't use that. Nope. Yeah, that one's not going to work because it will ding me for a copyright, and I don't need that. Would have been nice, but I don't have permission for it. Let's see. I think the only thing that kind of keeps me from some of the things is that they are, here we go, stillness. That's very pretty. Still a little bit of ticking in there. I try to avoid the tick from the Lofi. I hope everybody's doing okay. Just changing a couple of things on YouTube to make sure it's all good. I have to turn it down a little bit on my end or I will end up with loudness. And if I have loud in my ear, I won't speak softly to you. I'll speak a lot louder, and I don't want to do that tonight. Tonight is for napping. Napping and illustrating. So I'm going to do a little bit of turn this down and then turn it up. Now at any time, I want you to let me know if something is not loud enough or if it's too loud. Okay, so the last few weeks I've been doing a bit of illustrating for a project that I like, and this is mostly to see if I'm capable of it, you know. Anyway, I'll elaborate in a minute. For those of you who haven't been here, my name is Wynne Blue. I'm an artist and musician out of Seattle, Washington. Unless you are actually in Seattle and a purist, and in that case, I'm actually in Bothell. Not a bad place to be, honestly. So at any rate, I hope you're doing well. If it's your first time, hang out for a while. I'll talk just like this. We'll do a little thing. Right on. I'm going to be drawing tonight on my iPad. It's not something that I've been doing for the last 2 or 3 weeks. What I've been doing for the last 2 or 3 weeks has been in my sketchbook, kind of playing with the idea of doing affirmations and having a printable of some kind. And when they're finally done, which I have no idea when they'll be done, I've given myself several deadlines, and they have been interrupted on a number of occasions, which is unfortunate. But my days are split between artwork and looking for actual employment. But, I grew out my gray, and that means I'm out of touch, apparently. Not that I care, but I do want to work. So let me log into my iPad here. I've already got something in progress that I'm hoping to finish. Just have to see if it's going to give me grief. No. Alright, what I'm doing is I'm trying to get this so you can see the sketch that I scanned and brought into my iPad. So let's go into the desk draw. All right, so this is what was in my sketchbook. It's just a little blurry because I made it really big. And what I wanted to do was add an arm here because the magician is one of those things that there is a hand pointing down to the chalice, the cups, the pentacle, the wand, and the sword, and the other hand is always pointing up to the sky, as if to say, look up, the sky's the limit. And I had a couple of different sketches for this, but I really liked this one, and so did some of my viewers. It looks pretty good in pencil, doesn't it? Unfortunately, it is a hot mess. In order for it to be big enough and awesome enough for print, I have to redo it. I have to redo it so that it is clearer. So by print standards, this is pretty big. I'm just going to get my glove on and show you a little bit of the layers that I've already done. I've already royally screwed up all my layers, so yay. Moving in a little closer. Make sure you're hydrated. I'd appreciate that. I used my pencil a lot lately, and because this is an ancient iPad, it tends to run out of battery. I would love to be able to afford something newer, better storage, but that's not how it works. All right. Let's go into our layers and get back to what I was working on. All right, here we go. If that music is a little too low, you just let me know, all right? I'm gonna hop back and forth between layers. I can just feel it. Alright, I'm sketching out with blue to get an idea of where I want something that shows that she has an arm behind this. And I will delete that layer in a short bit. I thought about doing my standard ink for this and realized I really like the way that pencil looks, you know? I just really, really like how pencil looks. And my biggest problem with digital ink is that I will nitpick the heck out of it. There we go. I know there are easier ways to do this. It's a choice. I'm still unsure what I want to do for color, if I even want to do any color. I think I'm using the wrong layer, which is awesome. All right, I gotta try something. gotta take a picture of what I'm working on. Because I had a reference. I had a reference in my hand, and it was on my phone, and I just did not. Well, let me double check something. If I took it with one of my cameras, then I don't need to take another picture. Here I am thinking it was on my phone. That would be really obnoxious. Found it. All right. I love having a reference. There we go. And yeah, I'm going to put all the shadows and layers on not an independent layer, but on something else. Just because there's so much cleanup I can avoid otherwise. Yeah, it looks a little messy, but I think we'll be all right. We can always smudge. And I don't have any white under any of this, which, is why some of this overlaps a bit. Now, the last time I used Procreate, because it's been a while. The last time I did this, I was supposed to use all of these different techniques for how to manage layers and other things. And I could not figure it out. I felt so dumb because there's all these really great masking features. And I just was not good at any of them. So what did I do? I just took the long way to get any of this stuff to work for me. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I mean, it is a little annoying. But you know what? I'll live. It's fine. Because when it's printed, it's going to look a little different. Okay, I want to try something. And I'm really good at making tons of layers and then losing them. So let me try something. I think that's a more natural shape for the face. What do you think? Something like that? But I also kind of like it that she's a little chunky. Little body positivity in there. So I think what I'm going to do is take this down, and then I'm going to move some stuff around. I hate moving stuff around like this, but because it takes all of the sharpness out of the brush. Yeah, that's not right. So I gotta think of a different way of doing this. Okay. I got a big old black band right there. I don't like that at all. See how much erasing I can get away with. Oh. That's not what I want to do. Yeah, that's a little better. Not sure how I'll fix that. Be nice if I used the right color, wouldn't it? Okay. Now we have this. And I think I'm gonna combine everything but the hand. The hand is gonna have its own thing right now. And while I'm using the 6B brush, there's something about it that isn't quite in sync with everything else. So I've been doing a lot of semi-erasing and drawing over the top of it in hopes that it will start to look right. If you have any Procreate tips, you're welcome to put them in the comments. Because I am always open for improvement. See if I can get some, figure out where the light's coming from here. Alright, a little bit of smudging. A little bit of erasing. Okay. Now what I'd like to do is some color blocking, but I'm not entirely sure how I want to do that. So I think I'm going to come down here and rename this. Okay, so that's going to be my color thing. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I think I might just block it out with a watercolor brush because I don't really know how to use watercolor. So I might just grab something and call it good. Whoa, that is a very large brush. And like I said, I haven't done any white on any of this, so I'm not entirely sure how to do certain things. kind of a neat effect, this watercolor brush. And I can see why you'd want it kind of big. It's kind of wild. All right, I'm going to try something. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm sure it's going to work. I know there's an easier way to do this, I just can't think of it, and I don't want to waste stream time looking for it. So there's my syrupy brush. I may do some erasing here in a minute. There is a way you can just do like a, what do you call it, almost an eyedropper kind of thing. But I'm gonna confess, every time I've tried to do that, it hasn't worked. It's either due to the brushes I use, it's either due to the brushes that I use that leave holes in the lines, or I tend to miss bits and pieces. You know, you see all these really cute illustrations on Instagram and these lovely cartoonists, they go straight there. They don't even have a sketchbook anymore. Unless they're traveling, you know. But all of my stuff is usually in paper. So I have to figure it out in a different way. And all of my layers experience is from Photoshop. And if you have ever done any work in Photoshop, you know how infuriating layers can be. But layers can also be a huge, huge lifesaver. And that's kind of what I'm counting on. is for this particular layer to be kind of a lifesaver and allowing me to try some new things, you know? There we go. Now let's go back to some watercolor. Just because I'm enjoying playing this like crazy. I wonder if the watercolor brush blend does something similar. Because I found that these blend brushes don't do quite what I expect them to. Because they just pretty much push paint around, you know? So I started dark. And I wanted dark, but I can always add more. Okay, so I have something dark here. And now I'm gonna try something a little different. Not as much contrast as I would like. Let's try something else. I think I may put a color over the top of this. Just to see how it blends. Let's go back to the base color. See if we can lighten it up a little bit. Let's get a little highlighter in there. And I'm going to give her brown eyes because I can. As much as I like that, I'm going to have to see what the rest turns out to be. really like this effect. I like this effect where we are kind of, let me see if I can get this to, oops. Turn this down just a little bit more. I can see it, you can see it. But I want you to be able to see this interesting effect that I've got here. I've never done this before. It looks fantastic. At least to me it does. I might have to put more line work in here, but I feel good about that. So let's go onto the arm and see what we got here. It's very light. I've been listening to a lot of nostalgia from the 70s lately. I mentioned this during my music stream that the stuff I've been listening to is kind of like what played in my house when I was in elementary school. Now, my mother was, she didn't listen to a lot of music, but she bought a lot of albums because, you know, she could hear some, right? And so I listened to some things that were kind of fun. I remember listening to Melissa Manchester. If you don't know who that is, you should probably look her up. But I remember singing that album so loud in my room, but my mother wasn't really, she couldn't really hear me unless I got very, very loud. Which is, you know, that's fine. What is my child doing? I'll tell you what your child's doing. She's being a weirdo. She's listening to Melissa Manchester, which is, at the time, known as soft pop. And you know, I don't even know what top 40 hit came off of the album that my mother bought. No idea. is that I enjoyed the crap out of that album. It was my jam. I know. It's so silly to say, it's my jam. But it was, you know? This is going to sound strange, but I could have sworn I had shading on this. I did. So I guess doing all that white paint didn't do me a gosh darn bit of good. So, I hate doing it this way, but I gotta figure it out. It's that watercolor brush. And I'm gonna remove a couple of other things too. Excuse me. So let's see. I definitely am going to need some color on this hand, but I can't use. So I'm going to try and use a mask on this at some point. But there's our friend right there. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to give her some hair color. Got some nice brown in there. Okay. I've got a bunch of great brown color in here. Kind of, I guess, a reddish brown. I mean, the whole point of these light spots here is to kind of give you an idea of what the actual hair color is. That and their highlights. Okay, their highlights. I'm just going to do a little over painting here, just to see what I can get away with, and sometimes you just want the color. Okay. Now we have that much, right? I think I might do this a little darker. Do we have anything darker than that? I do, but I don't know if I should use it. Yeah, it's a little too red. What am I? Oh, I see. I am under something. I've said many times, I do not know what I'm doing as far as some of these things. Just kind of treating Procreate as a sketchbook, kind of. No special features. Close up, I don't like it, but let's keep going. See how much time we have left on the music. I usually limit myself to whatever the track is that I'm playing. Yeah, we got some time. So I've had a break from singing with my harmony ladies for a while because somebody went into a procedure and couldn't move their mouth for a couple of weeks. Oof. That's one way to save your voice, right? tell I'm really focused because I'm usually a little chattier during my streams, but man, am I super focused right now. Just super, super focused. All right. You know who I've been thinking a lot about lately? Freddie. For those of you in the know, it's been about 3 months since she passed, and I miss her every day. I've been working on walking through the neighborhood, which is nice. Because right shortly after she passed, I could not bring myself to walk through the neighborhood by myself. I was very sad. I just wanted my little dog with me, you know? And she was no longer with me, and it was just really, really sad. And I miss her. She used to be a part of my stream. She had her own little Fred cam and everything. It was really fun. Every time I'd get out of my chair, she would go running towards the kitchen. It was really funny. But I do miss my little dog. Now, my YouTube friends might have noticed that I didn't post or do the live stream on Monday. You know, there's a reason for that. I am not monetized, and I don't really expect to be monetized on any platform. But every time I do a music stream on YouTube, it says I have a copyright issue. It doesn't take down anything. But that's okay. It just warns me. It just says, you just wait. Someday. And then it bombards me with emails about how I should become monetized. Like, please don't do that. All right. I want to be able to do something a little extra. Let's see. Let's try that one. I didn't want to do that Okay. I would love for this to go darker. Let's see what I can do with these little trinkets. I have no idea what any of these watercolors do. like it. Thank you. I don't like that either. Thank you. So I'd like this to be more of a neon, but I don't think I'll be able to do that. Not with these tools. Let's get some shadow in there, baby. Let's see, we're gonna do something a little lighter right here. I know, I should have done the light stuff first. Ooh, not cool. And I think I'm gonna try this again. That's me cheating. There we go. Light to dark. Where are we? And I'm going to use this kind of light brown. It's not really brown, it's more of a tan. Sorry, I got a little excited. something a little darker for the wand. Maybe I'll try something redder too. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I think I need something a little redder than that. Let's see if this helps. That's good. All right, there we go. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. All right. Just thinking about adding. What am I thinking about adding? Like some leaves or something? Oof. Well, that's an interesting one. See, it's 300 dpi, but it's so pixely when I zoom in like this. Alright, when we move out, it looks like a coin. So, let's see. I would really like to create a layer where I can just put like a light color down so that when I put some other color, it doesn't bleed through that watercolor. This is something that I probably should have done earlier in the process. But like I said, I am just not your typical Procreate user. Now, if you look here, you can see these are all the places that any color is going to bleed through. Look at that. Zombie lady. So I'd kind of like to go through this and do a little something, something. So I'm taking this white and I'm taking, oh my, it's not there. I'm taking this syrup and I'm just going to use it to make this stuff pop. Uh-oh. Well, Beach Doggy has made it to Minnesota. Drove the whole way, chasing that heat wave that was going across the north end of our country. I'm really glad she made it. She says she's sorry to miss the stream, but she is very, very tired. And I do understand that. Don't forget, it's also going across, the heat wave was going across southern Canada too. Yeah, I can see that, yeah. All we knew was that she was going across I-90. Yeah, I picked up what you were putting down, DBT. By the way, welcome. Thanks for surfacing. It's always good to see you. Just going to double check on this and maybe fix some coloring issues. No, I don't think I'll have to do that. Yeah, there's some hairy stuff right here, but I'm not too concerned about it. So I'm going to go through here. Now, DBT, were you in the middle of that heat wave that's going across southern Canada? Because one thing Beach Doggy also said that's a little concerning is that there is some wildfire smoke in that direction. I do not like it that there is a wildfire season. It's very upsetting to me. Yeah, there we go. My husband and I are preparing for a heat wave. Well, not heat wave, because there's supposed to be thunderstorms this weekend. Yes, we were directly in line with the heat wave this year. It's not been bad for forest fires. A few years ago it was terrible. Yes, it was quite terrible. I was in the middle of all of the horrible allergies, and I was not just getting hit with the smoke, but I was also getting hit with dog and cat allergies at the same time. And they were not under control. I just had zero energy. It was just all about making sure we had that homemade air purifier thing that you make with a box fan, and some 24 by 24 heater filters, furnace filters. Those worked remarkably well. I did spend a lot of money afterwards replacing all of the filters in the other air purifiers that were supposed to keep all the animal dander and the dust under control. That stuff's not cheap. So far, we have made 2 of those box fan purifiers. They are very effective. All right, we're going to have an ad break coming up soon. We're going to have an ad break coming up soon, and I definitely want you to get up and get some water or give yourself a nice stretch. It's very important that you stretch. let's see if we can get this doing what we need it to do. Let's see. Mm. All right. So I think what I'm going to do oh gosh darn it. I've forgotten how to make a group. So just getting here, have you been on for a while? Are you going to plan to be on a little bit? Let me check. I usually let my music tell me how long I'm going to be on. So I probably got another hour before I finish up. I'd like to start a second one of these. forgotten how to make a new group. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up here. At least I thought I was going to. It's been so long since I have actually used Procreate. I mean, I haven't even used my Photoshop, which is kind of wild. Now, this is a part I'm not terribly fond of. Which is where I start to change sizes on things. And then it becomes something a little different. So there's the magician. I should probably put a little bit more blue in here. I want to make sure you can see it properly. Apparently I've completely forgotten how to do this. Okay. Alright, maybe it looks okay from there. You can see the color. Why won't it let me do anything? Okay, I'm gonna try something. There we go. So let's see if I can get this up here so you can see the color. There is color in there. Maybe I actually just need to put more color on. Then I can just use my eraser to create some kind of cloud. Yeah, I really wish you could see that. I don't know why it's being so sparkly. Optimize brightness. That work? No, it did not. Annoying. Back up a little bit. Make it tiny. Oh, let me try something else. Well, that's kind of also very annoying that I can't get the colors that I want. Oh, there we go. You can kind of see what kind of colors there are. I will post this on my Instagram later tonight, and because it's on my iPad and not just on paper, I don't have to scan it, I don't have to photograph it. And I just need to clean up these white edges, really. That's the only thing I really need to clean up. And I think I can get this done pretty easy. Nope. 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 Looks like I'm going to have to do this the hard way. I'll try to make it quick, because I meant it when I said I really would like to do a second one. It might take me forever, but I'd like to at least get one started. Wow, that looks really cool. I never thought any of my illustrations could look cool like this. Ta-da! I should probably put something or other on there. There's the magician. Yay! heck was that? Hmm. 1025 by 1290. Alright, this is just in case I need to figure out stuff later. Shoot. I have to double check something, sorry. Looks like I'm going to have to do this one all over again. It will have to wait. Now, when it comes to things that you're going to print, color profiles matter. There are two different color profiles that you can use. One of them is RGB, and the other one is CMYK. CMYK, that's for printing, as in putting something through a printer and inking it. So if you have a file that needs to go through a print process, CMYK, those are the colors that are in your printer right now. They're in every single printer on the planet. Laser, ink, all of those. Whereas RGB is something that you only do for display on a computer. So, I managed to make my magician in screen format only. Gonna have to do it again. I'll try to convert it, but it won't be the same. Alright, let's add something. Alright, I'm gonna have to download something. Oh, for Pete's sake. Ah, there they are. Let us do the High Priestess. Ta-da! Ta-da! Da-da-da-da, da-da-da. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Well, you know what? Before I go anywhere with this, I need to change the canvas. Okay. Okay, so this is the same ratio. Just a little smaller. All right, let's see where that goes. All right. Let's see where we can go with this. Now what I'm going to do with this, and I know you can't see it very well, and this is really, really upsetting to me that you can't see it very well. So this may not even turn out the way I hope. Let's see. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. All right. this blue is kind of just a guideline and gives me an opportunity here, this whole thing, to straighten out and correct some things that might have gone sideways in the pencils. Because after all, this is all the drawings that I've done so far have been, well, they've been experiments to see exactly what works and what doesn't. So help me understand, if you don't mind, why are you coloring things on your tablet instead of doing them in person? Ah, okay, like in my sketchbook? Is that what you mean? I have two reasons for it. One is that I am going to be submitting these drawings for print for a very specific purpose. And I want them to look nice. And if I do it directly into a digital file, there's a better chance that the print quality, and because the image itself will be clean. Whereas right here, what I have here, I could scan the illustration in, like I have here, but as it is, and man, as it is right now, the way I can do it is this has already been colored, and I can probably, let's see. I could probably turn this down a little bit and saturate it a little more, but then this is what I would have to do. I would have to go through here and remove all of this blurry stuff. Because even though it looks good in pencil, taking it to your local spot to have them print the cards for you, or to print it on your local printer, it would not turn out well at all. It would turn out looking sloppy. So by putting these in Procreate or Photoshop or Illustrator and using those resources, I create a cleaner, prettier print product, which is exactly what this is designed to do, is to be a print product. I hope that answered your question, DBT. I know it's not always clear why I do the things I do, but I do them for a reason. I've forgotten what I was going to do here. Okay, that's neat. I think I understand the difference. I used to know someone who their job was working on the computer in graphic art. And from my understanding, they used to color or fill in comic book pages as their job. Yeah. The comics industry has changed a lot since I first, when I first was interested in doing comics. The way they did it was they would get a special Bristol paper and do all their pencils on that. Sometimes they would do their own ink, but usually that got handed off. And then from there, everything got scanned, And then with Photoshop, Illustrator, Aldus, all of those, it became just so much easier to just eventually do it right there in a computer, so you didn't have to scan it in a different way, that kind of thing. See, that was so easy. Okay. I'm a little slow on the draw, which is kind of annoying, but it's kind of how it works, at least for me. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Just so I have enough, because what I'll end up doing is adjusting a few things. All right, let's make it happen. So I don't know if I told you, DBT, but my dad wrote a book. He wrote a book that is kind of I guess a political thriller. And Amazon has been less than an ideal place to post his works. He's been getting very frustrated with that. And I think today he got his first negative review. It's very strange. I think my dad is having an issue with not being easy to find in using the search. Because he's had a couple of people who've wanted to read it, like friends. And they haven't been able to because they do a search on Amazon and it's just not there. You can still find it on places like Book Baby or Barnes and Noble, but for the most part they've been kind of yanking him around as far as where he is in listings, and part of this is just how it works. If you're not a huge bestseller, then you're probably not going to be listed up there really, really high. Does he have an audio book? Oh, that's very interesting. I have suggested that to him, and he says, well, it's not like I don't have plans for an audio book. Like, well, you probably should see about fixing that, Dad. So it is in the plan. And the thing is that I know my dad thought it was a really good idea when I suggested it to him. I also suggested that he be the one to narrate it. I mean, who better than the author, right? I am more than happy to share the information. Sorry, I blanked for a second. The name of the novel, and it's short. It's more like a novella. It's called American Revolution. and it is a piece of historical fiction set in the modern day, political fiction, set in the modern day by the author Jack Chandler. Now my dad likes to write, and I think he's pretty good. He's written some good stuff. There's been a couple of things he and I do not see eye to eye on, and that's fine. But this one, every time he publishes a book, it's better than the last. So I feel pretty confident that this one is pretty good, and that it will strike a lot of people the wrong way. And I think that was kind of his point, really, was that he wanted people to think. That's weird. When I did a search for it, the first thing that came up was Amazon. So you did an internet search, but not an Amazon search. Interesting. I will have to bring that up to him. I'm not sure how he is getting the information that you can't see his stuff on internet, on a Amazon search. It also looks like it might be missed. In Amazon, it said the mystery and thriller. Oh, you like mistitled, maybe? Oh, now you're gonna make me look. When you say missed, you mean mislisted, right? Okay. Yeah, it probably got lost. If you look up American Revolution, you should look under fiction. Well, yeah, let me see. Well, the book, that would not surprise me if it came up in a search. Let me look up one more thing. American Revolution, a novel. Yeah, there it is. Hardcover, $30. It used to be part of the, what do you call it? There's that Kindle special or something like that. Published by Book Baby. Excuse me. Very interesting. It's in there. Political never comes up in the description. I think you have to put the author in there, otherwise it wouldn't pop up. I wonder why it's not in the Kindle. Thrillers and suspense, spies and politics. Interesting. Yeah, not sure why there's no Kindle in there. Very interesting. I'm going to put Kindle. Well, the Kindle version, the first search you got, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I think my dad just gets kind of lost in there somehow. But I will bring it up to him that because it doesn't show up for me either as Kindle. It's being weird. Mine was based on a voice search. I said the name of the book and the author. And yes, the first one that came up was Kindle on Amazon, and the second listing was also for Amazon, and the hardcover. Yeah. You'll have to do a little more digging, because for me it just wasn't showing up. Very strange. Somehow I managed to change the color of my pen. Very strange. It's all strange. The brief description of the book already has me intrigued. Oh, good. Yeah, the description is great. The premise is great. I've read it. I thought it was one of his better books. So let me know what you think. Oh, good. Yeah, take your time. My dad sent me a copy of the hardback, and he dedicated it to me and also signed it with a dedication to me. And I almost cried. And I'll tell you why. And I think I may have already talked about this in a previous stream. But my dad, because we lived like 3,000 miles away from each other, he would, my mother didn't give me an allowance. I don't think she could afford to. But my dad could, so every week he would send me a letter. and you would put a $5 bill in it. And that would be my allowance. And you know, the crazy thing is that I would save that money, and I would save it so that I could go to like summer camp or whatever. And I saved that and my babysitting money so that I could have, you know, a little something special for myself. And I remember his handwriting, because back then, you know, you didn't write anything, any letters on computer. If somebody was going to type something for you, it was on a typewriter. That's just how it was done, right? So I remember his handwriting. And when I saw his handwriting in that signature in the dedication, it was very different. And part of that is, you know, your handwriting and your art and all this other stuff you do with your hands, it changes as you age. I don't imagine my artwork will look the same when I'm 80 as it does now. But my dad's handwriting was definitely older. It was older, and it had kind of a tremor to it. And to be fair, it was a little scary to me. A little scary to see that age in his written hand, you know. There's a reality to it that is something we all have to face. Personally, I am not so much afraid of death as I am about getting too old to enjoy my life. I don't ever want to be in a position where I'm too easy to ignore, you know? And I say this for a very specific reason. Now, I have seen a number of people in my family get old. You know, people get old. But I've also watched them as their adult children might, you know, bring them to their home for a holiday or what have you. And then they sit at the table and everyone talks around them. And even if there's more than one, they don't even talk to each other unless they really know each other. Like my mother-in-law, she was in her 90s, and we would have family, like older family, come and visit, and those two would sit and just visit like crazy, like you do. But it was always very odd to me and a little depressing that even with my mother-in-law's hearing going, she could still, and I do mean still, tell a joke, follow a conversation. She wanted to be a part of that. And I used this, because even though she couldn't really hear very well, she could still read stuff. And there's this application on my phone called Deaf Note, which basically you could use, speech to text, or you could just type stuff in, and it would show it in big letters on my phone screen. Let me tell you, I would sit next to her with that app, and I would tell her everything that was happening at the table. This is what they're talking about. This is how they're going to do it. And she would perk up, and she'd join the conversation. Now, getting people to listen, that was another matter entirely, but I remember when she lost her hearing entirely, and she relied on all of that. And I felt like I was the only person to really talk to her, and it was just, it made me angry, to be honest. We all get older. And there is a point in time where, we can't hear as well. We can't see as well. We don't really understand a lot of what's going on around us because technology changes and we're just not interested. I don't ever want to get to that point where I'm complaining more about what's going on around me. I want to know what the young people around me are interested in, I want them to show me. I want them to tell me about it. I want them to, even if I just sit there and nod and smile, I want to engage, I'm not sure how long this loop of music that you have is, but I think my brain ruined it for me. Oh no, does that mean that I should try a different one? Let's see what I got here. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it down a little bit. All right, I've taken the music down. I'm going to start it over again, just simply because I'm down to like the last 2 minutes, and I don't want to rush the end of the stream. Oh, not by any means. I could share what my brain came up with and possibly ruin it for you as well, if you'd like. No, don't ruin it for me. I do like this particular artist. Here we go. Let's bring her back. There we go. That bought us a little extra time. But I went off on a tangent because my dad is very special to me. I worry about him a lot. I don't want him to be alone. Even though he says, I'm fine alone, people piss me off. Like, well, Dad, I would kind of like to be, I don't know. I don't like leaving you out of stuff. He says, rest assured, I am fine being left out of stuff. But, knowing what my in-laws went through in their final days, and it just that my immediate family, what they went through, it's just I just don't want any of them to feel lonely. I mean, if you want to be left alone, that's one thing. But I just don't want anyone to be lonely. I don't want anybody to be lonely. Okay, I got an ad break coming up. I'm going to continue to work on this until after the ad break. It's 2 whole minutes for my friends on Twitch. Make sure you stretch, get some water, take some deep breaths, maybe have a bio break. I don't need anybody hurting while I'm here online. So here we go. I've got my mostly naked lady here. Let's work on her. I do completely understand what you're getting at. The wife's dad now by himself, and things aren't exactly going well for him, and we keep wondering how long he's going to be able to be on his own, or if we're going to meet. We have to find a bigger place, and the 3 of us are going to have to live together. I feel that 100%. So many layers. You'll have to forgive me for not responding more immediately to that. I would rather I'd rather respond when there is no ad running. 3, 2, 1, and now it says, we're back. Yay! So now I can actually respond. I have thought about the same thing. My dad, however, has said to me that he fully expects to go into a care home. And I thought, well, that's kind of awful. But he thinks he's going to need more care. And I can't argue with him. He's not very good at arguing with me. Or should I say, I'm not very good at arguing with him. Right? saw that. I saw that you were getting hit with some ads. But I get it. I get that. Jack and I haven't talked about it much because, you know, Dad is the remaining old person until our generation starts to fade. But I've thought about where Dad's going to be, and I think the plan is that I would go stay with him until he is settled in a place that he is okay with. But he's going to want to stay down there by the ocean, and I'm going to be really unhappy about that. It's very pretty down there, where he is, where he likes to be. But I really hate driving there. I hate it. I'm actually fine with it. I've come to terms with it. Her dad and I get along well, so I don't think the transition will be too much for me. It's going to be hard on the wife. Girl and her daddy. I can completely relate to that. Plus, parents. Parents, parents, parents. Absolutely love my mom to death. There's no way I could live with her. Same. I mean, that's kind of one of the reasons that I left the South, is that as much as I loved my mama, she was kind of she hovered, which is kind of something that I'm having to deal with my husband. He is very bored. He's out of work, and so we're both out of work, and I have goals that I've set for myself, and he's got things to do around the house, but I don't like being doted on. I mean, what's next? Tell me how to dress? No. Stop. Don't. Okay, I don't like that boob. We're not going to do that boob. Maybe it's not too late to get your husband into playing the drums. No. And not for the reason you'd think. I'm still upset that he sanded down the finish on the guitar I was gonna be playing. Just the neck. It really pissed me off. I told a friend of mine, I said, this is what my husband did to the neck of the guitar I was playing. Not my guitar, he did it on his guitar because it's technically his. So he can do whatever the heck he wants with it. But I was using it more. And I don't know where he got the idea to do that, really. But it, I don't know, I felt like I couldn't play it. without the finish there. So a friend of mine said, well, Wynne, you probably could play it. It would just take some getting used to, and the sweat and oil from your hands would probably make it slide better anyway, eventually. Like, oh, great. It's like breaking in a pair of shoes. Alright, so I have this. The hair is going to be the thing that takes me the longest. So I think I'm going to do this. And then work on the hair. Still. And here's one thing that, otherwise I probably wouldn't care. But somebody had just loaned me a bone shaker pedal. Do you know what a bone shaker is? Bone shaker is like an overdrive pedal. Finally got my guitar back from the States. It's been down there for a while with the wife's brother. His stepkids were trying to learn to play, so I had loaned it to them while they were up here in Canada, and when they headed to the States, they took it with them. Haven't had it for 8 to 10 years? Oh. Yeah, it is like having an old friend in your hands. That's nice. 8 to 10 years, I guess someone's downsizing. I used to have an electric guitar, but it was not a very good one. It was one I picked up so that I could play Rocksmith. And, well, it was just a terrible guitar. It was not easy to play. It was like a fake Les Paul or what have you. And I ended up selling it to a student who just kind of wanted to dink around. Sold it to him for a song too, It's like, dude, if you want a cheap guitar, this is your guitar. Congratulations. Kids tried for a while but couldn't get into, yeah. It's just a matter of people not traveling back and forth to the States, yeah. Did a lot of good writing on that guitar. People try to argue with you whether guitars have personality or not. I'm one that believes they completely do. Oh yeah, I agree. Guitars have personalities. And I know this is going to sound weird. Some people don't think cars have personalities, but it seems like every car I've ever had, it's been like having a horse, But I get it, yeah. They do seem like they definitely have a specific personality. And some fare better than others, really. There's the hair I'm going to put on there. This should be nice. I'd like to fix this up. Maybe so she doesn't look quite so Cro-Magnon. There we go. There we go, that's nice. Now I just have to make her ears smaller now that her head isn't so big. Uh-oh, now her nose looks like mine. If I'm trying to write something and it doesn't work on one guitar, I'll go through maybe 2 or 3 to find the one that wants to cooperate with me in regards to the mood and energy I'm trying to produce with the song I'm trying to write. Yeah. Oh yeah. I only have one guitar to write on. And I gotta tell you, it is not always easy to write on guitar. I am one of those people who needs to have a beat. You know, I need to have a beat to write with. I do so much better writing to a beat than I do to anything else. I mean, there have been times where, yeah, okay, you send me riffs and chord progressions and I'm right there with you. But for the most part, if I'm by myself, I need to start with a beat. That's why it's so easy to just improvise vocal over some of this lo-fi. Alright, I think this is going to be it today. Let's see how far off the mark I got. Okay, so we have this. I do like both of these ladies. I might do some moving stuff around, who knows? Yeah, there we go. Just a little bit of this and that. So I'm going to leave it right there. Take her to the gallery and call her all right. There we are. Okay. Oh. I went over a whole half hour from what I normally do, which is actually kind of nice. This particular lo-fi artist does exactly 3 hours of lo-fi stuff and has also taken some of these tracks and put them into playlist. Her name is Melodies for the Heart on YouTube. And she's got a bunch of K-pop hunter themed lo-fi for studying and things like that. Let's see, what do we got here? Everything for me is written on acoustic, and then all decisions are made after that. Once the song is finished, then turn into power chords, whatever after that. I gotta tell you, DPT, I've been having some problems with my hands. And I know you were here for Monday's music stream, and I had some pain that went on a little longer than it needed to. So I'm going to have to learn how to stretch my hands a little bit before playing, and also somebody told me I needed to change my strings, and someone else said worst case scenario to play a different guitar. I was hoping to do that with the electric that we have because it plays so easily. It's a smaller guitar, or it has a thinner neck, which is nice. But I just bought 11s for my acoustic, and I'm told that if you have hand problems, it's too thick. So I'm gonna have to change my strings, probably gonna have to adjust the action. We'll have to see. But for now, I hate to do this, but it's been 3.5 hours and I am craving chocolate. It's been a good day. Yes, if you're having issues with your hands, 11s are too tough. Thinking about changing the action might be a good idea as well. I always thought that smaller strings meant a tinnier sound. You know, just too bright. But yes, I will have to go and get some 9s. See how I like them. Maybe I'll really like them. Maybe it won't be a big change. But at any rate, I'm just going to sign off here. I'm going to say, hey, thank you for lurking. Thank you for watching. DBT, thank you so much for joining me. I'll wait for a charity stream to do the restring of the guitar. Trust me, you'll get tons of money. If it's anything like the last one, oh yeah, that'll be great. Thank you, lurkers. Thank you, watchers. Thank you, VOD watchers, all of you who come by and say hello. Drop me a follow, a subscribe, depending on if you're here or there. Whatever it is, I appreciate your support. My name is Wynne Blue. I am an artist and a musician out of Seattle, Washington. Unless you are in Seattle and a little bit of a nitpicker, then I'm actually in Bothell. And as DBT says every time, no strings have been hurt in this specific stream or the making of the stream, for that matter. Yeah, I get it. Oh, yeah. Every time. It's very important to know that this is a no-hurt stream. Very friendly. Very friendly. I hope you got a good nap. I hope you're going to have a good evening, a good morning, a good afternoon, wherever you are. I want you to be good to yourself. Be good to others. And let somebody be good to you. I love you and I want you to be happy. And I will see you on Monday for a music stream, unless something crazy happens, which doesn't always, but you never know, right? All right, see you later, DBT. See you later, everybody. I love you. Be good.